Hey everybody, thanks for joining. This is Liam and I'm here to do a long-term review for the 2021 Sunday High C 29-inch wheelie bike. I've been riding the bike for about 6 months now and I've made a number of small changes to the bike, maybe big changes, to help me with my riding style and to address some of the shortcomings of the bike. But overall, I think that the Sunday High C is probably pound for pound, dollar for dollar, one of the better values right now in the wheelie bike game. So if you're looking for a bike to get into the bike life scene, I think the Sunday High C 2021 model could be a great bike for you. While it's not something you'd notice immediately, the biggest change I've made to this bike is switching out the stock V-brake for this Magura HS33 hydraulic brake. And it has just been a fantastic addition because the predictability of hydraulic brakes is fantastic. The stopping power is impressive, and if you're like me and you want a light pull on the brake lever but you want big stopping power, you just can't beat a hydraulic brake. The price point is a little high, granted, but when you think about how much you actually use the brakes when you're riding a wheelie bike, I think we can all agree that great brakes are important, and if you can afford it, I can definitely recommend the Maguras. Meanwhile, one of the more obvious changes I've made is the addition of these two silicone grips on the left of the handlebar, and these are from ESI. One thing I've found living in an area where it gets to be 100 degrees plus in the summer is that rubber grips just don't last, and they get sticky and messed up from being in the hot sun all day. But these silicone grips are incredibly durable and long-lasting. I've noticed that other popular riders that I follow on Instagram, like Lottie Dottie or Chris Noblocks, tend to hold their handlebar with the left hand closer to the center, and I've noticed it's better for my balance as well. I'm not sure if it's a center of gravity thing or what, but having my left hand closer to the center of the bar just feels more comfortable when I'm riding long wheelies, 1 to 2 minutes. And also on the handlebar side, you may have noticed that I've added a foam bar pad in the center, and that's just because I've seen guys come down and hit their chin on the bar, and I don't need a split chin. If you get one of these lights with a rubber strap for your handlebar, it may work right, but when you come down from a wheelie, it moves. So can't recommend a light like this. If you get a chance to get one, don't get it. Probably the biggest change I've made to the bike is switching out the stock tires, which were Maxxis Torch, I believe, 625 grams, for the S&M Speedball tires, which are 2.4 inches wide, so they're wider. They're quite a bit thicker. They are 1,105 grams, so I think that's 39 ounces. And the tires are just fantastic. They're grippy. They take 70 pounds of PSI. I haven't gotten any thorns puncturing through them, and for the last several months, they've just been fantastic. They do wear pretty quickly, so I've already purchased a second set of tires, which I'm going to install next week. But overall, I think they were the biggest change for me in terms of how the bike felt, how it took jumps, and how easy it was to swerve with these nice wide rounded tires versus the stock tires. The other thing you may have noticed is that I actually switched out the wheels for some tall hub S&M 29-inch COVID Cruiser wheels. The main reason I bought these was they have stainless spokes. And let's face it, I think a bike at this price point, or any price point really, if you're spending several hundred or $1,000, should have stainless spokes. Moving right along, you can see this is actually an SE Bikes seat. I think it's a Blocks Flyer seat. I thought maybe with the textured covering it had, it would be a little bit grippier on my butt, but it actually got kind of smooth once it wore in. And the reason I got this seat is because I was having trouble with the original Sunday Bike seat. Mine had seemed to collapse on me, so I'll show you some video of that. It was crooked, and I don't know if it's because I was coming down on it on one side or not. But anyway, I changed the seat, and I also had to change the seat post. And the reason for the seat post change was I couldn't get the angle of the seat tilted down far enough at the nose of the seat so that I could get my knee on it when I was doing a peg stand. So I could do wheelies just fine, but I just couldn't get the correct seat angle with the stock seat post, so I bought one from eBay from Nash bar, I think, and then I also replaced the seat because the Sunday seat had gotten a little crooked. It's tough to see in the video here, but it's actually twisted, and when I was riding around, I would notice it, and I just couldn't stand being on a seat that was crooked, so the seat had to go. Here's a shot of the underside of my Sunday seat. You can see the rails are a little beat up, and I think they're only 7mm thick versus the 8mm thick rails on the SE bike seat. So I know it's difficult to tell, but the SA bikes seat rails are thicker. Additionally, they've also got the brace in the back that I mentioned earlier, the bottle opener, and there's the Nash bar. Here's the bottle opener that I think is actually upside down because you don't have the space to get a bottle between the back of the seat and the rear tire in order to open it properly. So maybe on the next iteration they can flip that cutout upside down, and then we can open beers easier, if you're old enough. Here's a shot of some of the metal reinforcement, also known as brake boosters, on the Magura hydraulic brake. You've got them on the top and the bottom, and they help firm up the brake feel. And then here's the plastic bottle cage that I use from Arendelle. It was a little pricey, but I like the yellow, and it fits my UE Boom 3 like a glove. That thing has never popped out, no matter how much I've crashed. This is the RNC titanium sprocket. I got titanium just because I figured it would never wear out. What I didn't realize is that it could bend, so mine has a slight bend in it, and it's annoying. And then here's a shot of the Shadow Conspiracy, the Interlink Supreme chain, which is the more expensive of their chains. I'll show a picture showing the medium and the expensive versions of that chain, and I think they function the same. Unless you're a beast with a gorilla of a leg that can break chains, there's no point in buying something that you don't need. But then again, it's your bike, so do whatever the heck you want. Here you can see the rear wheel. This is about 1,000 miles of riding, and especially if you do skids, you are going to eat these tires up very, very quickly. So the speedballs have great grip. They're soft, which means when you slide on them, they disappear real fast. And then here's a picture of the cockpit. Pretty nice. Oh, so here's a photo. These are the prices for the two Shadow Conspiracy chains. I've used both of these. I'm on the more expensive one right now. Seems nice. I can't really tell the difference, but it's nice. This is showing you how the chain has tight spots and loose spots. I honestly don't think it's the chain. I think this boils down to the sprocket, because it's just too consistent. Every time you put the pedals in the same spot, the chain is going to be in a different place, but I always have the same looseness, so that tells me that it's the sprocket that's actually got a little bit of a bow in it, because I use my right foot to initiate my wheelies. I always punch down with my right foot. Here's what the 15-tooth Origin 8 Hornet freewheel sounds like. One thing I'm really happy that I added are these rear wheelie pegs. These are animals. I think I've got some Odyssey M pegs and a couple others, but I just added these last month, and it's been a lot of fun learning how to ride on them and balance on them as I go downhill. So I'm sure people look at me funny because I can't really do any tricks yet. I can just stand on them. But I think learning how to use these is my next step as far as learning how to ride wheelies. So definitely enjoying these. They're not that expensive. Another thing I've changed is the mid-bottom bracket for another 19mm set from Odyssey. These are very nice quality, and I changed them because I thought I had a problem with mine because I kept feeling a weird pop with every rotation of the crank. Turns out it was the left pedal. So my power stroke was on the right, and then when the left pedal would get to the top of the stroke, I had this weird little pop. I thought it was the bottom bracket, I thought it was the sprocket, I thought it was the chain, maybe it was a binding chain. Turns out it was this bearing, and as you can see on the pedal, it just bound up. So every time it went around, it'd make this weird sensation, and I ended up changing a lot of parts on the drivetrain that I didn't need to. So, lesson learned there, always check the simple stuff, and I didn't think you could damage pedals that way. Anyway, I replaced my pedals with these nice RaceFace ride pedals. They don't have the big metal pins, so they don't tear my shins up when I screw up, and that's often. So I like these pedals because they've got that nice little stainless accent, I think. It's another shot of the Magura brakes, and I'm using Cool Stop pads, which I got on eBay once again. Only because my local shop didn't have them, I should point that out. Always try and give my business to the local bike shop. They just happen to be more of a mountain bike shop than a bike life shop. And here we go, a couple more shots of the S&M speedball tires. This is what the tread pattern looks like. That's the front. It obviously doesn't get used as much as the rear. So that's just some skids and some wheelies, circle wheelies. And this is how I actually take video. I stuck one of these on for my GoPro, and then I bolted this on down here for the GoPro. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. I know it's a bit long-winded, but here are the two color schemes from Sunday for their 2021 High C. As you can see, it's several $100s less than a comparable bike from other manufacturers. Nothing bad to say about anybody's bike, because I think the more bikes we have, the more people we're going to have riding, and that's the important thing. But if you are looking for an affordable bike, the Sundays are a great way to go. Quick little shots of me using the rear brake. I'm pedaling very much going downhill. Love these Magura brakes. Pegs, cruising downhill. This is about 4 or 5 weeks after I got learning how to do a peg stand while I'm in a wheelie, and then try and get back down into a wheelie. Here's another angle of a wheelie to a peg stand back into a wheelie, and I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. So please like and subscribe and enjoy. Have fun, everybody.